No contact is not what hurts the most. What hurts more is when she realizes your silence was not a strategy, it was a transformation. Because at first, she may think you are just trying to get a reaction. She may think you are angry. She may think you are waiting. She may think you are counting the days, checking your phone, fighting the urge to text, hoping she finally breaks first. She may think your silence is still about her. But then time passes. You do not chase. You do not check. You do not send the late night message. You do not ask mutual friends. You do not post to get her attention. You do not show up with the same wounded energy she expected. And slowly, something becomes clear. You're not just silent. You are gone from the old version of yourself. That hurts more than no contact because no contact can still feel like a game. But real growth feels like loss. No contact means you stop talking. Growth means you stop needing. No contact means your phone got quiet. Growth means your life got louder. No contact means she cannot hear from you. Growth means she can no longer access the man who used to lose himself for her. That is the real shift. A man does not regain respect by disappearing and waiting. He regains respect by becoming a man who no longer has to disappear as a trick. He becomes calm, he becomes disciplined, he becomes harder to move emotionally. He stops giving emotional access to confusion. He stops treating her silence like proof of his worth. He stops building his identity around whether she comes back. And that is what hits different because when a woman expects the old you, and the old you does not return, she has to face something deeper than silence. She has to face the possibility that you truly changed. Most men misunderstand no contact. They think the silence itself is the power. They think if I do not text, she will miss me. If I stay away, she will regret it. If I disappear long enough, she will come back. But if you are silent while still mentally chasing, you are not powerful. You are just quiet. If you are not texting her, but you are checking her stories, you are still chasing. If you are not calling her, but every post you make is secretly for her reaction, you are still chasing. If you are not reaching out, but your whole day is built around wondering if she misses you, you are still chasing. That is not no contact, that is emotional waiting. And emotional waiting keeps you weak. Real no contact becomes powerful only when it turns into real self respect. When you are not just avoiding her, you are returning to yourself. When you are not just trying to make her feel your absence, you are learning how to live without needing her presence. When you are not just hoping she notices your silence, you are becoming too focused on your own life to keep measuring your worth through her reaction. That is what hurts more than silence: your recovery, your direction, your peace, your ability to stop making her the center of your world. Because silence can be temporary, but a man who finds himself again is different forever. At first, she may expect you to break. Maybe you always did before. Maybe when she got cold, you got warmer. When she pulled away, you moved closer. When she ignored you, you explained more. When she became unclear, you tried harder. When she gave less, you gave more. You thought you were showing love, but what you were really showing was fear: fear of losing her, fear of being replaced, fear of being forgotten, fear that if you stopped trying, everything would end. But now you understand something. If something only survives because you keep chasing it, it is not standing on mutual effort, it is standing on your fear. That truth changes a man because once you see it clearly, you stop begging for things that should be mutual. You stop treating basic effort like a prize. You stop over apologizing just to keep the connection alive. You stop rewarding low effort with high anxiety. You stop giving full access to someone who only gives you confusion. That is not bitterness, that is maturity. And maturity hurts the old dynamic more than silence ever could. Because silence alone can be broken with one message, but maturity cannot be pulled back so easily. A mature man does not collapse because she sends, hey. He does not lose his frame because she says she misses him. He does not forget the pattern because she comes back soft. He does not hand over his peace because she finally gives him attention. That is the man she did not expect, not cold, not cruel, not bitter, just different, a man who can care without chasing. A man who can miss her without begging, a man who can feel pain without obeying it, a man who can love deeply and still walk away from confusion. That man is harder to control than the man who simply goes silent. Now, let us be honest. When you first stop contacting her, it hurts you too. It is not easy. Your body wants the old habit, your mind wants the old relief, your hand reaches for the phone. You want to check if she posted, you want to see if she looks happy. You want to know if she's thinking about you. You want one sign that the silence is working, but that is where your real battle begins, not with her, with the part of you that wants relief more than respect, because one message can give relief. One story view can give relief, one small sign can give relief, but relief is temporary, respect lasts longer, and if you choose relief every time, you will keep returning to the same pain. A strong man learns to sit with the urge without obeying it. He can feel the chest pressure and not text. He can feel jealousy and not check. He can feel loneliness and not beg. He can feel curiosity and not ask mutual friends. He can feel the memory and not reopen the wound. That is how self trust comes back. Every time you say, I will not chase, and you do not chase, you rebuild trust in yourself. Every time you say, I will not check, and you do not check, you rebuild control. Every time you say, I will not send a message from panic, and you keep the phone down, you rebuild dignity. Confidence is not built by saying, I am confident. Confidence is built by keeping promises to yourself when your emotions are loud. That is what hurts more than silence. Not that she cannot hear from you, but that you can now hear yourself. You can finally hear the voice inside you saying, I deserve peace. You can hear the part of you that you ignored when you were chasing. You can hear your standards again. You can hear your future calling. You can hear your own life asking for your attention back. And once a man hears himself again, he becomes harder to pull into chaos. That is why this is bigger than no contact. No contact says, I am not texting you. Self respect says, I am not abandoning myself for you. No contact says, I am silent. Growth says, I am no longer available for the old pattern. No contact says, maybe she will miss me. Discipline says, whether she misses me or not, I will become stronger. That is the difference. And that difference is everything. Now, understand what she may notice over time. She may notice that you are not reacting anymore. She may notice that you are not trying to prove anything. She may notice that you are not posting emotionally. She may notice that you are not orbiting around her life. She may notice that the man who used to be easy to pull back is no longer easy. But do not become addicted to imagining what she notices. That is another trap. Some men stop texting, but they spend all day thinking, is she feeling it yet? Is she wondering about me? Is she regretting it? Is she checking my page? Is my silence hurting her? And while they ask those questions, their life is still about her. That is not freedom. Freedom is when your life starts mattering more than her reaction. Freedom is when your workout is not for her to see. Freedom is when your money is not for her regret. Freedom is when your discipline is not a performance. Freedom is when your peace is not waiting for her apology. Freedom is when you can say, I hope she grows, but I am not sacrificing myself for confusion anymore. That is powerful. Because revenge keeps you attached, bitterness keeps you attached, wanting her to suffer keeps you attached, living for her regret keeps you attached, but recovery frees you. Recovery says, I do not need you to suffer for me to heal. Recovery says, I do not need your regret to prove my value. Recovery says, I do not need your return to start living again. That is the kind of man you are becoming. Now, what actually hurts more than silence is when she sees that you are no longer trying to be seen. That is a deep shift. Before, maybe you wanted her to see your pain. You wanted her to know how much she hurt you. You wanted her to understand what she lost. You wanted your absence to speak so loudly that she could not ignore it. But now, you stop performing. You stop trying to make your healing visible. You stop posting with hidden messages. You stop designing your life around her possible reaction. You stop trying to prove you are doing fine. You actually start doing fine. That is different because a man pretending to move on still feels attached. But a man actually moving forward has a different energy. He is not loud. He is not forcing anything. He is not trying to look unbothered. He is simply not available to the old pain in the same way. That kind of calm is rare, and people feel it. They feel when a man is no longer emotionally leaking everywhere. They feel when he is not looking for validation. They feel when his attention is returned to his own life. They feel when he is no longer trying to win an invisible competition. That is what makes him powerful, not silence alone. Presence, direct, self-control, standards. A man with direction is not waiting by the phone like his whole identity is trapped inside one notification. He has things to do, he has a body to strengthen, he has skills to build, he has money to make, he has faith to deepen, he has a routine to protect. He has a future that cannot stay paused because one woman became unsure that his real masculine energy, not begging, not chasing, not pretending to be cold direct. When a man gets direction back, he stops acting like a woman's attention is oxygen. He can want her, he can miss her, he can care, but he does not depend on her to feel alive, and that is what separates a man from a boy. A boy says, "Please come back so I can feel okay." A man says, "If you come back with clarity, I will listen. If not, I will keep building." That is a different energy. Now, let us talk about the night, because night is where this becomes real. During the day, you may feel strong, you may work, train, stay busy, talk to people, move around. But at night, everything gets quiet, your thoughts get louder, memories return, her voice returns, the old messages return, the warm version of her returns. Then the cold version returns too, the distance, the silence, the confusion, the way she made you feel like you had to prove you mattered. And suddenly your mind starts negotiating. Maybe I should check. Maybe I should send one message. Maybe she is waiting. Maybe she thinks I do not care. Maybe if I stay silent too long, she will forget me forever. But be honest, most of the time you do not want a message because it is wise. You want a message because you want relief. Relief from uncertainty. Relief from anxiety. Relief from the thought that she might be moving on. Relief from the pain of not knowing. But relief is not the same as respect. A strong man tells himself the truth before he acts. He says, "I want to do this because I want the pain to stop." Then he chooses discipline. He writes the message in his notes and does not send it. He puts the phone away. He walks. He trains. He prays. If faith is part of his life, he sleeps. He lets the urge rise and fall without turning it into another mistake. Pain can be felt without being followed. That line matters. Pain can be felt without being followed. You do not have to obey every feeling to prove it is real. You can miss her and still not text. You can care and still not chase. You can feel rejected and still not beg. You can want answers and still not reopen the wound. That is emotional control. And emotional control is what hurts more than silence. Because before, she may have known your emotions could move you easily. One cold reply and you would chase, one ignored message and you would panic, one soft return and you would open the whole door. But now your emotions no longer control the wheel. You feel them, but you lead yourself. That is growth. For the next 7 days, do not message her first from panic. Do not check her stories. Do not ask mutual friends about her. Do not post to get her attention. Do not make emotional decisions at night. Do not reread old messages until your chest hurts. Do not send a soft message when what you really want is reassurance. Put that energy into training, work, money, sleep, discipline, faith, emotional control, and rebuilding your identity. Train your body even when your mind is heavy. Clean your space even when your emotions feel messy. Fix your sleep because tired men make weak decisions. Eat properly because heartbreak drains your focus. Walk when anxiety hits. Brought what you want to say, but do not send it from panic. Put your phone away before midnight. Build your day before your emotions build it for you. This is not about pretending you do not care. It is about proving that her silence does not own you. Every time you do not chase, you rebuild self trust. Every time you do not check, you rebuild control. Every time you do not post for her reaction, you rebuild dignity. Every time you choose your routine while hurting, you become stronger. That is how a man becomes solid. And a solid man is not easily pulled back into chaos. He does not fold because someone gives him a little affection. He does not collapse because someone becomes distant. He does not forget the lesson because someone sends a soft message. He does not become bitter, but he also does not become easy. He watches, he listens, he moves slowly, he lets actions prove what words claim. Now, if she comes back after your silence, this is where the real test begins. Most men think the goal is to get the message, but the real goal is to stay grounded after the message because one hey can wake up the old man. One I miss you can make him forget the whole pattern. One soft message can make him open the door too quickly. One little sign can make him believe everything has changed. Do not be that man. A small message is not a full return. A hey is not accountability. A miss you is not change behavior. A story view is not love. A late night text is not proof that she is ready. A woman touching the door is not the same as a woman walking through it with clarity. If she reaches out, breathe. Do not reply from shock. Do not reply from hunger. Do not reply from anger. Do not reply from the wound. Reply from calm. If she says, hey, you can say, hey, hope you're doing well. That is enough. If she says, I miss you, you can say, I hear you. What made you reach out? If she says, I've been thinking about us, you can say, I understand. What do you want to do with that? If she says, can we talk? You can say, we can talk, but I am not rushing back into anything. These are not games, they are calm boundaries. They show openness without desperation. They invite clarity without begging. They protect your peace without attacking her. A real return can handle patience. A fake return usually cannot. If she genuinely wants to reconnect, she will respect your pace. If she only wants emotional access, your boundaries may make her disappear again. Let that happen. You need truth more than temporary comfort because comfort can pull you back into the same cycle. Truth sets you free. Now, here is where many men fail. They do no contact long enough to make her curious, but not long enough to change themselves. Then she comes back and they become the same man again. Same anxiety, same over explaining, same fear, same need for reassurance, same desperation hidden under polite words. And she feels it. She feels that he did not grow, he only waited. That is why this video is not just about silence. It is about what hurts more than silence. What hurts more than silence is when your return to yourself is real, when she cannot pull you back with one message, when she cannot get full access with one soft line, when she cannot make you chase confusion again, when she realizes that the old emotional door is not open the way it used to be, not because you hate her, because you respect yourself. That is the difference. A man with self respect can listen if she returns. He can be kind, he can be calm, he can forgive, he can even rebuild if his energy is healthy. But he does not rush, he does not collapse, he does not forget the lesson, he does not make reentry cheap. Your trust has value, your peace has value, your time has value. Your attention has value. Your emotional energy has value. Do not give those things away just because she knocked again. If she wants to come back, let her come back with clarity. Let her come back with accountability. Let her come back with consistent behavior. Let her come back respecting your pace. If she comes back with confusion, you step back. If she comes back with guilt, you stay centered. If she comes back only at night, you observe. If she comes back while still entertaining another man, you do not become the backup. A man with standards does not stand in the shadows waiting to be chosen. He stands in clarity or he walks away. That is self respect. Now, let us be honest about something. A part of you may want this to hurt her. A part of you may want her to feel the loss. A part of you may want her to regret everything. That is human. When someone hurts you, the ego wants balance. It wants them to feel what you felt. But do not build your character around revenge. Revenge keeps you attached. Bitterness keeps you attached. Living for her regret keeps you attached. A free man does not need revenge. He needs direction. He does not say, I hope she suffers. He says, I hope I never abandon myself like that again. That is the higher path. And the higher path is harder because it does not give your ego quick satisfaction. It does not let you attack. It does not let you perform. It does not let you become dramatic. It asks you to be disciplined when every part of you wants to be emotional. That is why it builds strength. A weak man turns pain into chaos. A strong man turns pain into standards. A weak man says, I will make her feel it. A strong man says, I will make sure I never ignore myself again. That is the difference. Now, what if she never comes back? Then you still win if you become a man you respect. This is the part many men avoid because they want the story to end with her return. They want the apology, the message, the regret, the proof that no contact worked. But the highest proof is not her return. The highest proof is your peace. Can you sleep without her reply? Can you train without needing her to notice? Can you work without checking your phone every 10 minutes? Can you stop asking about her? Can you feel sadness without turning it into begging? Can you remember her without reopening the wound? Can you love deeply without losing your frame? That is success because a man who can do that is no longer easy to break. He is harder to manipulate, harder to pull into chaos, harder to make insecure, harder to turn into an option, harder to replace with temporary attention. That man is attractive because he is not desperate for attraction. He has direction, he has standards, he has emotional control, he has a life. And a man with a life does not need to beg anyone to enter it. Now, maybe she will feel the difference. Maybe she will not. Maybe she will regret it. Maybe she will move on. Maybe she will come back with real accountability. Maybe she will only test the door. Maybe she will never say a word. You cannot build your life around guessing. What you can do is build so deeply that if she comes back, you meet her with standards. Build so deeply that if she never comes back, you keep walking with peace. Build so deeply that her silence no longer feels like a prison. Build so deeply that your life becomes louder than her absence. That is what hurts more than no contact, not the silence itself. The fact that you became whole inside it, the fact that your attention returned to you, the fact that your peace stopped depending on her, the fact that your future started moving again. The fact that the man she thought would always chase finally chose himself. That is the real shift. So tonight, when your mind tells you to check, do not check. When your ego wants proof that she misses you, do not search for proof. When your heart wants to send one small message, do not send from panic. When loneliness tells you to reopen a door that hurt you, breathe, put the phone down, stand up, drink water, walk, train, pray, work, swipe, build. Do one thing that makes tomorrow better, because discipline is how a man tells heartbreak, you can hurt me, but you cannot lead me. That is the man she did not expect, not the man who begged, not the man who folded. Not the man who stayed silent only to wait, the man who hurt but stayed composed, the man who cared but did not abandon himself, the man who wanted her but did not make her return the measure of his worth, the man who turned silence into strength, pain into standards, and absence into direction. That man is hard to manipulate, that man is hard to replace. That man is free. So remember this, forget no contact if all you are doing is waiting. The thing that hurts more than your silence is your self respect, your peace, your discipline, your emotional control, your refusal to chase, your ability to stop performing for her reaction, your recovery that continues whether she notices or not. That is what changes everything. Because the deepest truth is this, the goal is not to make her suffer from your silence. The goal is to become so grounded that her silence can no longer make you suffer the same way. And in the next video, you will learn the exact signs your silence became real power and how to handle her return without giving away the strength you worked so hard to rebuild.